Hi guys, welcome back to Time2Win Invitational Tournament. With me, Paolo, who just won his match against Sivka. We can actually talk about it. How do you feel after the game?
I mean, it always feels good to win, right?
Of course.
It was a really long series. I mean, you always get control warrior versus control warrior. It takes a while.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought we played pretty well. I made some misplays myself, but I think overall it was a good series.
So, were you pretty confident even after the mirror match? Because you knew that you still have the mid-range paladin, right? And you knew that your opponent will only have the control warrior. So you're heavily favored in the last game, right?
Yeah, I mean, I actually, beforehand, when I saw the classes, I thought I was pretty favored. And then he banned my druid, which made me even more favored, I thought. And then, especially after I won the first game, the warlock was kind of the only class which could beat me a little bit, I thought. And then I won the first game, and as soon as I saw his freeze mage, I was pretty sure I was gonna win. And then I almost lost the control versus freeze mage game, so it's
that was really close. But you know what? You didn't see that. But the first game between the warlocks, right?
Yeah.
Stan has in his hand Twisting Nether, 2 Soulfires, and wait for that, Sacrificial Pact.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't use the Sacrificial Pact on your Doomguard.
Oh, yeah, he Siphon sold it. I guess he was waiting for Jiraxis.
I guess so, but at the same time, it was kind of dangerous, right, to leave up 3 minions on board, even though one of that was Ancient Watcher.
Yeah.
But you're always aware that it can be at silence. So, yeah, it was kind of interesting to see. But now, the next match I will have, it's between my teammate RDU from G2 Esports and between, well, you can say an up-and-coming streamer who is known in the scene for quite a long time. He was also my teammate 1 year ago in Planet Key Dynamic, and that's Ponyhof. He was quite quiet some time ago when it comes to playing because he was part of Take TV staff creating basically Seed Story Cup and also the league that I just can't remember the name, but at some point Take TV was making a league, an online league between the teams.
Way back, right?
Yes, way back, and that was one of the things that Ponyhof was actually doing, and at Take TV. So now he goes back to playing, and I'm really happy to him doing that. So we'll see how it goes against one of the powerhouses in Hearthstone, which is
it's going to be a lot of fun to see if he brings something new, some new decks maybe. I'm not a guy who watches his stream, but I mean, I've been watching this stream so far, and he seems to have a lot of support. Everyone keeps spamming pony emotes, so I mean, he seems to have a lot of people watching. So hopefully, he can do well.
Yep. Well, I'm a teammate of Radu, so I will be kind of biased, but I just hope to see a good match between those two guys, and we'll see how it goes. So we can actually see the classes already for the matchup, and Radu is bringing Paladin, Warrior, Hunter, and Druid, and Ponyhof is bringing Druid, Hunter, Warrior, and Mage. And from what I assume, Ponyhof banned the Paladin and Radu banned the Mage.
Okay.
It is interesting because most of the players right now, from what I have seen at least, tend to not ban Mage at all. Almost everyone seems to think that the Freeze Mage is one of the easiest matchups to actually win against, because there are so many options with like Druid, with Hunter, with Warrior. Exactly, RDU has those classes, and yet though he still bans the Mage.
You might think it's some other mage though. If Ponyhof might be known for playing like Tempo Mage, it could be a little bit different. But I think the reason why people don't ban Mage normally is just because the strongest classes right now counter Mage like pretty easily, like Druid and Warrior. So you're always going to have two super strong counters that are basically always in your lineup. So it's always like, I could ban Mage, but I could also just win with Druid against it, and I can ban maybe Paladin, which might be a stronger deck overall.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And we'll be jumping into the game shortly, I think. Both players seem to be ready.
Okay, so it is like you said, that RDU ban Mage and Pawnee ban Paladin.
Mm-hmm. It's a different approach also in the less Euro standing format, right? How much time do you actually spend preparing for this tournament?
I spent a lot of time preparing for Seed Story. Like 5 days before, I probably played like 70, 80 best of fives with different lineups. So I kind of got the feel for it pretty well. And what I want to do at least. It's always different. Like in last year's standing specifically, I think a lot of the lineups you were gonna bring depends on how you rate certain matchups. For instance, a lot of people rate Freeze Mage against Handlock. Like Freeze Mage is gonna win, but I think it's really favored for the Handlock. So I tend to go to like Handlock just because I think it beats a lot of matchups. But we're in the game.
Yes, we're jumping into the game in a few seconds, and it seems like P4wnyhof chooses to start with the Hunter, and the same goes for RDU.
Yep, Hunter Mirror. It's a little bit different than the Warrior Mirror that we're used to seeing.
Oh yeah, this actually Hunter Mirrors are one of my favorite kind of matchups because it gives a lot of opportunities for the players to shine with their skill.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually very skill intensive.
And RDU seems to be playing a really aggressive one, but at the same time, I mean, I was saying aggressive one because there's the Bogan Infiltrator, which usually says to the opponent, okay, I have a really aggressive Hunter, but at the same time, he has Freezing Trap.
Yeah. So that kind of says it's hybrid Hunter, right? And that's what RDU was playing at Seed Story as well. So, I mean, hybrid Hunter is probably what I would go for right now. It's very strong against many of the classes that are out there, and it can take so many wins off of different decks. Ooh, he decides to go for the Animal Companion. Do you like that?
Not sure.
I think I would have gone for Freezing Trap and maybe even coined out the Leper Gnome instead.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because now with that Leok on board, you can't really attack with the Vulcan, right? There's no point.
Yeah, but even the Huffer would have been kind of weird.
Is it?
He just goes for it.
Huffer just goes face, and that's it.
Yeah, but then you can still trade with the Worgen. Okay.
Now we can trade both, right? Or does he just go face with it? Because this... Not exactly sure, but this way, his Freezing Trap is really bad.
Yeah, his Freezing Trap is basically useless now. At least until turn 5, where you can unleash then Freezing Trap.
Maybe that's the plan.
Yeah, maybe. It could have definitely been. So he decides to go with the... I don't even know what that card is called.
Argent Horse Rider.
Argent Horse Rider.
This one is actually worth remembering because it's very playable.
Yeah, of course. It's definitely... It's a better Wolf Rider, right? That's why people play it.
Yes, I agree, and it's actually extremely useful against warriors. Because they can't really easily remove it with weapons.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, now it's come to a little bit awkward here. Well, Pawnee stabilized with 2 Mad Scientists on the board. That's pretty strong.
I guess you have to go for the bow this turn just to make some trades, because you're still ahead of the HP, right? Ahead the HP points. So you can allow yourself to make some trades, but at the same time, seems like the Misha will be a huge problem for RDU.
Yeah, that was a very good Animal Companion there. And another thing for RDU is that he has no idea what he's playing against. He's seen Mad Scientists, he's seen Animal Companions, that's it. That's in every Hunter deck. So he has no idea if it's face, if it's mid-range, or if it's hybrid, which means that he has no idea what the secret is going to be. So it could even be snakes, it could even be the bear trap, who knows. I'm guessing it's freezing. We haven't seen what it is, right?
I guess so. I mean,
Well,
it fits. It fits. Oh, it's not. It's not snake trap either.
No, so I guess it's explosive. He's playing
bear
Orc
trap.
and he's playing abusive, so.
In this situation, I think you have to trade for this second mad scientist.
And hope he doesn't have another secret in his deck.
Mm-hmm.
You could do this as well.
Okay, this might make more sense, especially if there's a bear trap, right? Bear trap, sorry. I mean, because if he triggers the trap, then you have an option to clear the bear.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is pretty good for RDU actually. Gets him another charge on the bow. Puts him he's still ahead on most things, and I think he would assume it's explosive trap, so he trades his Ardent Horse Rider, and then just hits face just to proc the secret.
It's interesting that Ponyhof didn't opt to play his Mad Scientist for 4 mana, and instead he just played Hero Power for 2, and was left with 2 mana.
I guess you're on the racing path now. You have abusive in your hand, double abusive. So you just want to Hero Power every turn, I guess.
But you want to use second abusive, maybe?
I mean, you can always use it later, I guess.
So how much damage is that? 9, 14, 17?
This is a lot.
17 damage. If you use Unleash the Hounds and Kill Command this turn.
Yep.
But can you allow your opponent to have 6 damage on board and
clear for sure?
So just go face, Hero Power, and Hunter's Creeper, right?
Yeah. Is there any way you die here? Because you could, I guess, Kill Command if you really felt threatened.
I don't think so. I mean, I would. Maybe you don't even play. Let's count it. You play the Hunter's Creeper. You have 3 minions. Your opponent plays double Unleash the Hounds into Hero Power, which is 6, 8, 10 damage. With 1 Unleash the Hounds and 1 Kill Command, then you die.
Yeah, if you play the Haunted Creeper.
Yes.
So I definitely agree with this. I like this play from Pony here. Sets up his second, what looks like explosive trap at least, so that RDU can't attack into his face and kill him.
Mm-hmm. You think he's bluffing?
No, he probably has the explosive trap. It makes sense. If you play 1 explosive trap, you normally play only explosive trap, and you play 2 of them.
So now we just trade with the minions.
Yeah, you kill him next turn no matter what. So
yes, exactly. Unless Ponyhof plays Healbot for some reason.
Ooh, 1 damage off. Both players on 1 HP.
Yep. That was close.
Yeah.
That was really close. Was there a turn when Pony could have done 1 more damage? Maybe the turn when he played the Hero Power instead of Mad Scientist would have brought the...
It would have maybe been more damage in the end.
Oh, wait. If he would play the Mad Scientist, then if RDU would trade into the Mad Scientist, it wouldn't bring the second explosive trap.
Yeah, exactly. So
that was the reason why he didn't play it.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty exciting game to start off this series. Both players on 1 HP. Not every day you get to see that.
Exactly, and now RDU will stay with his Hunter, and the other classes for Ponyhof are Warrior and Druid.
Warrior and Druid, exactly.
Mage was banned.
Yep. So I guess you go with the Warrior, right? The Druid is okay against Hunter. I think it's probably like a 50-50 matchup. But no matter which Warrior it is, I think it's going to have a better than 50% matchup against Hunter.
Okay, well, you have 7 high mains which can win against Warrior single-handedly, right?
Yep.
Because that's so much pressure. Warrior usually can't handle that amount of damage coming from a single card. And at the same time, you pressure him from the beginning of the game, so he has to have a single resource, even though if it's not like profitable for the Warrior, because you will use a bash for a leper gnome or something like that, and you will use those crucial removal cards for minions that don't necessarily like have to be used on those like small amount of HP. Like an example, you use execute just to deal 1 damage, basically, or something like that.
Yeah, it often comes down to the early game where do you have to use, like, if you have your weapons, you normally don't have to use your removal stuff to clear the smaller things. And then you can normally stabilize even if a Savannah comes. But if it's the other way around, where maybe he plays like an animal companion and you don't really have any good weapons to deal with it, and you have to maybe execute or shield slam it, then when they drop the Savannah on 6 and you can't deal with it, that's when it kind of like goes overboard and you lose with the warrior. So it's definitely not like, oh, I pick warrior into hunter and I'm gonna win. It's definitely not like that.
So we'll see. Players are preparing now for the next match, and Pony is bringing the warrior. So I guess it's control, right?
Yeah, it is control. And we see Dr. Boom, Baron Kid, and Shield Maiden in his mulligan, so that kind of gives it away. The hunter is pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's a great opening hand, and Pony's hand on the other side. You have to mulligan all those cards, and that's also the problem with the control warrior, because it's designed to beat hunters, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, it can be punished by this deck itself. If you just go for, like, you know, cards like for 5-6 mana, and you can replay those when single leper gnome will deal 8 damage.
Yep, it's definitely true. We did pick up one weapon though. It's not the P4wnyhof axe. It is the Death Bite, which on this board is going to do pretty good with both the Leper Gnome and Worgen Infiltrator getting in here. So what do you do? Do you go super greedy? I guess not against Hunter. You don't coin Knife Juggler, do you?
Oh wow!
Oh, that is so greedy.
Wow, this is really greedy. I mean, I would have to ask him, why do you go for a 3-2 minion when you could just go for the damage?
Yeah.
Especially with the Glaive Zuka in your hand.
Yeah, I don't think I would have played even Knife Juggler on 2. I would have played the 2 1-drops and then played Zuka.
Exactly. Because Glaive Zuka gives you more damage, and with the 2 minions on board, you basically have that option.
That's pretty good. But does it actually do anything? Do you actually play it instead of Hero Power?
Because you want to play Death Bite next turn, so you can just use the 1 damage AoE to clear both Leper Gnome and...
I mean, it's actually the same thing. It takes 2 damage off the board, which is the same with your Hero Power. It takes 2 damage, or it gives you extra life. So,
that's true.
And this way, if he maybe played like another Knife Juggler, this would have been better. But he decides just to equip the Death Bite for the Death Rattle next turn, which I agree with. We see that RG's hand is... He didn't draw any minions, which is gonna hurt him a little bit, but he does have a lot of weapon damage.
A lot of weapon damage is really great against warriors, because if Warrior wants to stop that, he needs the Belcher. Oh, look at that.
He needs the Belcher. Oh, there it is. But this hand is actually like insane if you're Pawny. You have double armor gain plus Alexstrasza.
There's the Savannah Highmane for next turn, so Pony can't attack with that. But at the same time, he will just replay the Shields Madden because he will play that on turn 6. So even with that Savannah Highmane, he's not that scared.
He still has the Belcher, which Radu needs to get through, so... That's gonna tank 1 attack from the Savannah Highmane, I guess, if there's no Owl drawn, or like a kill command or something like that. So I don't think he's that worried about this Savannah. Yeah,
of course.
Oh, look at that. That's a card. I have 5 armor, he plays Savannah. Let's top deck Shield Slam.
I'm thinking now, because you might just use the freezing trap. No, use it on the Shields Madden anyway.
Yeah. You can play it next turn for another heal. So you definitely Shield Slam. Now you actually have to think. Do you play the Nexus Rod, or do you play the Shield Block? He goes for the Shield Block. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, me too.
I think I would have rather had the 4/5 body.
Yeah, the Sarad seems to be really interesting when you can play it without any drawback. Right?
Yeah.
It's just a Yeti, but it will value it so much.
Against Hunter, Yeti is
turns.
amazing, right?
Because you will use the hero power anyway.
And most of the spells actually are pretty good against decks like Hunter. Like most spells in the game are actually pretty like anti-aggro. Which does mean you're often gonna get, I mean, there's so many spells, so you can get crappy spells as well, but you're often gonna get pretty good spells against aggro.
Yeah, it's true.
But he has most of what he wants, I guess. That's the card. Perfectly for with 2 mana left for the Taskmaster.
But it's still the amount of pressure that is going down from the warrior is not, sorry, from the hunter, is not necessarily over.
No. Pawnee is kind of stabilized though. He's on 24 life. And RG isn't threatening, I guess, that much. After this turn, he's gonna have a 2/1 left.
And there's Alexstrasza. You can actually just play Alexstrasza here.
Yeah, I guess you leave the 2/2 up actually. You don't know that he has a freezing trap in hand, and you really don't want the freezing trap to come out. Oh, this is kind of... I guess this is okay as well. You really don't need to play Alexstrasza, I guess. You're never gonna die. Oh, Mirror Entity. It's pretty funny.
You think so? You need to play Alexstrasza? I'm just thinking like it's a big heal bot, you know?
But against Hunter, it does kind of the same thing, right? Like, a 4/5 is like a big minion against Hunter. It's not like gonna get traded off. Maybe if he plays the second Savannah Jaime, he would have wanted the Alexstrasza instead.
Okay.
But now he actually, like, this play worked out really well for him, because now he could freezing trap this rod instead of the Alexstrasza. But I guess he's not gonna freezing trap now just because he has the bow. Gives him another 3 attack, which is kind of pointless.
That's true. The single Unleashed House doesn't make it. That's not enough to squeeze some damage in.
He's destroying everything now. Shield blocks pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty funny seeing all these spells.
I guess Ardu will just concede this turn.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's no way he wins.
So another first game. In contrary to you and Sivka.
Many slow games instead.
Yeah, P4wnyhof ties the series. Well, to be honest, we did see that coming, right? The warrior should, in theory, crush the hunter.
In theory, yes.
Huge amount of armor, and but it was still really close at some point. So,
I mean, it normally ends up like that, right? The hunter puts on as much pressure as he can, and then can the warrior stabilize? That's the big question. And in this case, the answer was yes.
What do you think about the turn 2 double 1-drops instead of the turn 1 double 1-drops, I mean, right? Because that was the difference.
In my mind, it could actually been what actually made the difference. That could be why RGU lost that game. Like, it could have, I think he still would have lost just because P4wnyhof's hand was so amazing. But we will never know, I guess. It was a lot of damage he missed, so...
Yeah, especially with the Glaive Zukan turn 2.
Yeah.
Well, now RDU will try to counter the warrior, and he has his paladin band, right? No, wait.
He has his paladin band. You're right.
Yes, so paladin band.
Druid and warrior.
So I guess he would have to choose the druid.
It kind of depends. I guess he's playing mid-range druid. Would make the most sense, I guess. Then you definitely choose the druid. But if he was playing aggro druid, that's not a very good matchup against control warrior.
No, it's definitely not. So, but at the same time, I know that RDU heavily favors the aggro druid in general in the metagame. So he might actually be playing that.
Yeah. I mean, he does, like, normally you always want to have, like, 2 good classes against the big decks, which are right now Mage, like Freeze Mage, Control Warrior, Paladin, if you're not going to ban one of them. So he only has kind of Paladin against the Warrior, so I would guess it's mid-range Druid just because of that, just so you would have something against Control Warrior.
Yeah, it's true. We'll be jumping into the game. It seems like a mid-range.
It does.
Mid-range Druid.
It could still be aggro, but those cards kind of gave it away that it's mid-range, and seeing... It's a pretty bad hand, but it seems like a mid-range Druid hand. Double Savage or Paladin Shredder. It's pretty poor.
Yeah.
So what do you do as the warrior? I guess you don't. You could keep Shield Slam. That's like the only card I would.
Would you keep the Shield Slam? I mean, you can when you're going second.
It's pretty good against Druid. That's just the only. That's what's in my mind. It's like, yeah, I want my weapons, but Shield Slam is a pretty good card. But I guess in the end, I probably would have thrown it away as well. And RDU picks up Shade. That's at least a minion he can play on 3. He wants to find the wild growth, so it still has 1
or the Dinosaur's Aspirant. He has 2 options. Might be actually 3 because he can also top deck the Innervate. But he didn't get any of that. So he has fortune for him. He has turn 3, he has turn 4, and if he top decks the Innervate, he also has turn 5.
I actually think Ancient of Lore is probably the most important card in this matchup, just because normally as a Druid, you put on pretty good tempo against Warrior. They don't really have stuff to deal with your minions like that comes out every turn.
I agree. Yes.
But then you, at some point, like you start drawing like your Savage Warrior, Force of Nature, your Swipe, and you kind of run out of minions. So you really need that Ancient of Lore to refill your hand. And he does have that at least, even though he has no more minions.
And in this situation, the Pilot Shredder seems to be very useful also, because it all depends, of course, of the drop that is being dropped from the Pilot Shredder. But that Totem Golem is going down, and that changes a lot.
Dirty Totem Golem. Against Warrior too, but that's such a hard time dealing with with 1 HP, which this is going to be on, I guess, after you attack into the...
Oh, look at that! That's Innervate.
It's pretty good, but I guess Savage Shore,
right?
Yeah, Savage Shore is pretty good here. You could. Is there any other play? No, Savage Shore seems so good. Okay, he decides Ancient of Lore is better. I guess you don't attack them. Makes sense, I guess.
Well, that's a perfect brawl for Pony, right? He has the weapon.
Yeah, this is amazing.
He has a minion that can survive even after he loses.
The only problem with the brawl is that he can't kill whatever comes out. That's normally what you want, right? You want to brawl and then you can kill. It's like he could be thinking of something else. He does have other plays. Like I think you would slam the lore attack into it, and then play bash on the Totem Golem to trade off like that. Leaves 4/4. It's pretty good. Picks up the second Shield Slam, so I mean this is the same. This is better, so you take 2 less damage than what I said. And you just bash the 5/3.
Yeah, the bash is one of the most amazing cards for Warrior in general, in my opinion. It's not flashy at all, but it just gives so much like sustain during the game. It's incredible.
He decides to execute it.
Well, I guess it makes sense when you have 2 Shield Slams and you want to power it up.
I guess.
But RDU with double Savage Rolls in his hand, this might still change a lot.
5 spells in his hand. He just needs to find good spots where he can get them out of his hand. Refill, like he has Azure Drake, that's a good card. He just needs to top deck his big minions. That's not one of them, unfortunately.
And it's practically a dead card until turn 10 right now.
Yeah. But it's still kind of awkward because Pony doesn't really have a good play. I guess this is pretty good. I would have been tempted to play the Shield Maiden. I would have gotten super punished by the swipe. But since you have 2...
has the combo in his hand. Ponyhof is at 22 HP. But the shields will make a lot of difference, a huge difference right now in the position in the board stage, because RDU can't pick up anything relevant right now, but Walgo can get him some of the big wins he really wants to get. And he gets the Emperor, which is insane. With double Savage Roar and Force of Nature already in hand, I assume he will just slam the Emperor and just attack for 2 damage to the face with the Keeper of the Grove. Followed up with a Dionysus Aspirant, I guess, because there's no reason why would you not play an additional minion when you have double combo in the hand. And that means there's 22 damage in Ardu's hand right now. And what can Ponyhof do? He can trade the Shieldsmaiden for the 5/5, then he can kill the Dionysus Aspirant. That means he will get 3 armor here. He can also play Bash on the Dionysus Aspirant. But that means he will leave a minion open unless he chooses to play the Death Spy to kill the Keeper of the Grove. But he goes for the Brawl. He goes for the Brawl, which means he might end up with no minions at all. And the Emperor survives, so now he's forced to use the hero power and the bash to just get some life back, because he just got 5 damage to the face. That means he's at 27 and he's not dead to the double combo, but at the same time there's 2 swipes in Ardu's hands. That's 30 damage available, and what he just needs is an additional minion right now, and Loader is just perfect. Additional 2 damage from the Keeper of the Grove will make sure that our Ponyhof will be in range of the double combo, and that's basically it. The single Armor Smith will not do anything, and Ponyhof will have 27, 29, 31 damage coming to his face next turn, and that's it. Ardeus takes it up after a really bad opening hand with double Savage Roars. Now he's going down. .31 damage, finishing up the game. Warrior is being crushed by the mighty trees. So Ardu takes the lead, 2-1, and he's still with his Druid. And that means... hi Powder, you back?
Hello, yeah, I'm back. Something happened, I don't know what.
Yeah, usually something happens. Ardu just won with the double Savage Roar combo. So, well, we kind of saw it coming. And
yeah, kind of what was expected. I mean, his hand was still like pretty good when I left.
Exactly. So this will mean that Ardu is in charge right now. He is leading 2-1, and he's left with Druid and Warrior when Ponyhof has only his Druid.
Yep, so Druid Mirror.
Druid Mirror, which might go either way, because it's heavily dependent on the mana acceleration. I mean, by mana acceleration, I'm saying who is getting the mana acceleration and who doesn't get it, because that's usually how it goes with this matchup.
It's often dependent on who goes first, too.
You think so? What?
Yeah.
How come?
I think going first is a big deal. Like, if you get ramp as when you're going second, especially without Darnassus, like when you just played Wild Growth, like when you're going second, you don't ramp up. Like, that's basically just changes that you're going first. Doesn't really matter that much, but if you get ramp as the guy that's going first and the other guy doesn't, you're 2 turns ahead of him.
Okay. I guess that's right. So we'll see how it goes in the next match, because players are almost starting. And this might be the last game for Ponyhof. I bet that his fans are now struggling with the spam.
I mean, so Ardu has Warrior after this.
Yes, he
so
has.
If he manages to beat the mirror, I guess it's Control Warrior, so I guess he should be in a decent position. So,
against the druids. I mean, your Ponyhof will be in a decent position, right?
yeah, Ponyhof will be a decent position.
But then you talk with some players that are like known for being the druid players, and they say that druid is now favored against druids. Sorry, that warrior is favored against druids right now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. I mean, I've been playing Control Warrior for a long time, and I've been playing it in most tournaments where I've done well. I've always brought Control Warrior. And right now, it's probably the best for Control Warrior against Druid, but it's still like, it's never, I don't think it's favored. And if you say it's favored, I think it's kind of like, you're a little bit biased. It's probably close to 50-50.
Okay.
But even that might be my bias as a Control Warrior player.
So this time Radu is coming second.
Yep.
And, well, he still doesn't have the... Oh, there it is. That's the One Growth and the Narcissus.
He kept... Wow. That I don't like. He kept Wrath in
For the
the
Narcissus Aspirant.
I
Guess that's the only reason, right?
I guess. But if you're keeping 2 cards and you don't have any ramp, it seems kind of strange to me keeping the Wrath.
I agree.
If you had Wild Growth and you had like another good card, I can see it, but okay, there it is. He knew. I'm just gonna stop. He knew who was gonna top that game.
Of course. I mean, that's usually how it goes, right? And
Yeah,
Radu
exactly.
doesn't go for the Narcissus Aspirant.
I would have played the Darnassus, I think, but I think I would have played it on the coin, like just coined it on turn 1.
Yes, exactly what I was thinking. Because if you play it on turn 1, then you basically say to the opponent, you have to have Wrath it.
Yeah. Then
Or
you
I will...
stop their turn of playing.
Yes. And you still want to go first.
Yep.
Interesting.
Like now the Darnassus is just kind of a dead card. I guess you could play it here. This is kind of fine. Just playing it with the second Wild Growth. So is he gonna charge or is he gonna taunt? Okay, he's gonna taunt. I think I probably would have liked to see the charge more than breaking your stealth on your shade. I value the shade a lot higher than the 4/6 Druid of the Claw.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you here. Especially that a 4 minion on dice to a Keeper of the Grove.
Yep.
That's fine. Kaz and Mystic in the hand of Ponyhof is really awkward in this mirror match.
Yep.
Has no value at all apart from fact being a 4/3 minion, that's it.
Okay. So he decides to go for it here.
I guess that will be answered by Radu with the Keeper of the Grove and 1 damage from his hero power. Oh, maybe a Ref.
Maybe a Wrath. But RD really needs to draw into his bigger stuff. We see that Pony has an Asher Drake, and as soon as he plays it, it's going to be kind of awkward for RDU.
Well, Radu can now clear the board with the Keeper, Wrath, and hero power, right?
Yep.
So, I will mean he might actually go for 1 damage in the Wrath if he wants to cycle.
I think that's better. This is a lot better, I think.
Agree, yeah. So, he will keep the coin too in this situation because there's no reason to use a hero power when it doesn't finish any kind of minions.
Yep. Azure Drake. Swipe is pretty good. I guess you Wrath here. I guess you Wrath for 2 again. You've seen 1 swipe, you just want to draw the card.
And the Ancient of Log is being drawn. That's very good.
RDU has a decent turn here, at least. He's been lacking on the minions for a while now. Druid of the Claw is pretty good. He would have liked to see a Nation of War, but you can't really complain. Ancient of War. It has to be played here. If he had 9 mana, I would have thought about it, but he only has 8.
Well, Ancient of Law, when you have full health and you can just dig for answers next time, that's an amazing position for Ponyhof to be in. So now RDU. Well, this seems like a turn for low tip and shade, right?
Yeah, the only question now is how do you play this? Do you just go? I guess no, you can't go full face because you get destroyed by swipe.
But the swipe costs 9.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly 9 mana.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
You would have gotten completely destroyed.
So Ponyhof destroys one of the opponent's minions and gets back how much damage? 17, 19 damage.
Yep.
That's not enough.
Oh, that's the card he was looking for. Right when he needed it.
And because now he can also squeeze the damage from the load up and hero power to clear off the single taunt minion.
Yep. He is gonna get swiped though, but if he didn't draw that Ancient Warrior, it would be looking pretty poor for him.
I guess you can play also the Thanasis Aspirant here. Because you don't value the coin at all in this situation. It doesn't make a difference with a second Savage Roar. You need the Innervate to do that, to play like a Force of Nature double Savage Roar. And you have the Emperor anyway, right? So, wow, he's using the Savage Roar here. Did you see that coming?
No, I actually did. That's... I mean... He had 3 extra mana, I guess. But this swipe is just so insane.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't like that Savage Roar there.
I mean, otherwise you just hero power.
Another Ancient of Law.
I mean, it's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's like the best draw.
He needs to find some stuff.
Oh, look at that! He has another Savage Roar. If only he didn't use that first one.
Yeah.
That would have been game, basically. Wow, that's insane. I guess you can go for the Innervate Coin Emperor. Because what else do you have to do?
Yeah, I mean this for sure. The Innervate was really good. You need to put out stuff, basically. That's like you need for him to trade.
And now Wnyhof wants to draw the Savage Roar. And it's Outer Drake. So that's not it.
I mean, the Azure Drake's actually a good pickup, just because you can swipe it and then you don't have to clear it with your own...
With your Emperor? Because
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can use the Micro Machine, right?
Yeah,
to
it's
clear
perfect.
the remains.
He's just looking for that Savage Roar, he's not finding it.
Well, it looks awful for RDU.
Yeah, it does. But he can clear, I guess. That's like the only thing. But it's looking really bad.
Especially because Wnyhof has 4 cards left in his hand, when RDU has nothing relevant, I would say.
Swipe, does that do anything here? I guess you don't have to use your Savage Roar, I guess.
Well, it seems awful. You still have one Force of Nature in the deck, which you can draw for the combo, but your opponent is not in range. Not in lethal range, at least.
Guide my lance.
Deducted Boom coming down. It's not helping RDU. But I'm kind of surprised that he didn't opt to use the Keeper and just...
That's the nail in the coffin, drawing Innervate when you don't have any cards.
Yeah. I guess this might... The one thing I didn't like was the use of the Savage Roar, and I think... I don't know, I wouldn't use that, but...
I don't think it would have mattered in the end, but it did set up for a swipe, like super good, which he hadn't seen one swipe yet. So like in his mind, it could have been like, if I play the Savage Roar here, it puts me in a better spot if he doesn't have swipe. And since you're behind, you kind of have to take those risks sometimes.
Okay.
Maybe that was what he was thinking, like, okay, if I take this risk and it pays off, I could come back.
Yeah, I can see that happen. Might have been the point for RDU. Because at the same time, you can't really predict that you will draw this Savage Roar, the next Savage Roar.
Yeah, exactly. It could just as well been like the last card in this deck.
That's true.
So it's gonna be the Druid versus Warrior last game. So for RQ, you're hoping that it's a Patron Warrior, I guess. It's all a bit.
Is it better? Because
It must be better. I think so. It's pretty. The new one is pretty good against Druid.
because of the inclusion of Pilot Shredders? Not everyone is playing Pilot
Just like
Shredders, right?
mid-range, like just the mid-range cards. It's so good against Druid. And then I mean Patron. Patron just ruins Druid by itself. Like
Of
if you
course,
have the nuts, like Deathbite on 4 with Inner Rage Patron on 5, you just lose.
It's very interesting that nothing changed for Patron Warrior in this matchup because he was playing the Patrons without charge anyway.
Yep.
So nothing changed apart from the fact that you don't have the obscure damage with Warson Commander and Fronting Berserkers. That's the only thing that changed.
Yep.
But it seems like it's Contra Warrior, and Pony has both Wildgrove and Darnus Aspirant.
I really don't like that keep.
Did Darnus Aspirant, right?
Yeah. If you have Wildgrowth in this matchup, you don't keep Darnassus. It's kind of pointless. Like, it's just a card where you don't really want to play it. And the Warrior has Fairy War Axe, which just wrecks. So now you're going to play Wildgrowth, and then you're going to have... You just have a dead card for the rest of the game. But he decided to keep it, so he has to play with it, I guess.
And,
but, yeah.
Well, for RDU...
He needs to find that Deathbite.
Yes, but at the same time, the Sylvanas might help here a lot.
There is the Keeper, though. So it is going to get answered, but right here, when you're RDU, you're feeling pretty bad. You don't have a way to deal with his first 5-drop. What happens when he plays the second 5-drop next turn?
Well, second 5-drop will be just dealt with the bash and the weapon, right?
That's actually true.
I guess you can just Fairy War Axe and execute this in.
I guess. That's what he's going for.
You have to. Because you can't allow Druid to have any kind of minions on board.
And Pawnee's just sitting there, laughing to himself. Is that your best play? I'm gonna ruin you. No, but... He plays the second Azure Drake. He wants to find, like, his head is pretty bad after the Emperor, so I guess that's kind of how RDU has to win this. Like, is he innervating the Darnassus here?
That's interesting. 'Cause I don't see a point when there's already weapon board, but at the same time he knows that there's no answer to the Azure Drake, right?
I kind of like this actually, because you're never going to be able to play the Darnassus or the Innervate, like, anyways, because you're going to play Emperor next turn, and that's gonna basically, like, reduce all your cards, so...
Well, he's not playing the Emperor because he's opting to use
the swipe.
This swipe, and to be honest, I don't know how to feel about that.
I think I would have played the Emperor.
Yes, exactly. You want to put more minions on board. The Azure Drake is not dying anyway, right?
Yeah, the Sludge has no good trade. So why not just not attack with your Azure Drake, play the Emperor? You can swipe next turn. He couldn't deal with your Drake before, so how could he deal with it now? So I think that was a misplay, but I don't think he's gonna be too punished by it.
I have no time for games.
Well, actually, if you played the Emperor now, it would have looked better, but... You've already played one swipe. I would have been tempted to swipe face, but I guess this is a lot better than swiping face.
Yes, building up the board, but this is the opportunity to play the Brawl, right?
Yeah.
Because usually you don't have the opportunity to use the Brawl at all. The problem is you don't have a follow-up to kill the minions after that.
Oh, he's thinking of playing the Baron Geddon instead. If this is his trade, he's playing the Baron Geddon. I don't know what about that. I think I would have liked to see him the Brawl instead. I'm not sure. It's tough. This just, if he has Big Game Hunter, you're kind of screwed.
And he had it. Ooh, bad Shredder placement. Punished.
Punish him. Give him a Direwolf.
I guess this is the turn when you have to use the bash.
Yeah,
Or
bash.
wait. What about now Brawl? Because now Brawl makes sense with
You
bash.
can bash whatever comes out. Yeah, I like it. I don't think Brawl Shredder, Brawl Belcher would have been bad either. But okay. Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's good for RD.
That's very good for you because it doesn't put any kind of pressure.
Well, it is with Savage Sword. It still does damage, right?
Yeah, but it's better to have one damage source from Savage Roar than instead there's a 3/2 minion that gives you damage each turn,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. RD is definitely happy about that. And if he can find a Shield Slam here,
Or Taskmaster.
yeah, now Taskmaster would be good. Oh, with the big game would have been good anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't find it. A little bit unfortunate.
I guess you have to play the Belcher this turn.
If he plays the Belcher, the Lightwell is actually going to be really good because it would heal. It's going to heal the Ancient of Lore.
Oh yeah, right.
So we can't. Well, does it heal for 2 or 3? I can't remember.
3.
It heals for 3.
Yes,
So that's perfect. So he can't execute anything.
that's
It
true.
actually works out. And there's the Savage Sword right when he plays Emperor.
With the combo and the swipe, so that allows RDU to play turn 10 with 18 damage from hand.
Oh wait, it does at the start of your turn. I'm stupid.
It doesn't really change that much because there's already 5/5 on board which can't be dealt with, and RDU will have to play Isera this turn.
Yep.
There's no other way around it. So how much damage is that? That's 17, 22,
23.
23, and 24 for RDU.
Yeah.
Well,
No, it's 24 actually. Yeah, it's 24. It's exactly lethal because you can hear a power. I guess that's why he's happy, right?
I guess so.
Because it's 14 plus 7 plus 2. So 14 plus 7 is 21, plus 2 is 23, plus hero power. It's 24.
Well, he has swipe, right?
Oh, so it's even more damage. By me counting. Yeah, it's way over.
I forgot about the light well.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about the damage from the light well.
That Lightwell, MVP. MVP. So P4wnyhof actually takes the game against RDU.
Well, RDU is not having a good time, that's for sure.
No. I want to see the spam. The spam in the chat after this game.
Congrats
That's
to
crazy.
P4wnyhof for taking the series.
Yeah,
He is advancing to day 2. We are halfway through the day. We still have 4 matches to play, which is Super JJ versus Neria, Xixo versus Gara, Colento versus Poe, and Cypher versus Jab. So,
those first 3 games sounded very nice.
yeah.
They're going to be fun to watch. I mean, the last game's pretty good too, but compared to the other 3, I think that's the...
Yeah, definitely a lot of interesting games ahead of us.
So we see the
So,
bracket here.
yeah, and P4wnyhof will be met with Cypher or Jab,
Yeah.
Order with Colento or Poe, Ecop with Super JJ or Neria, and Northern Leper with Xixo and Gara. I was saying Powder like you're not saying here. But anyway, this is it for now. For after this game, we'll be having a short break, and we'll be right back with the next match. So don't go anywhere. Right back. This is the Time to Win Invitational Tournament.